Hello, this is Jacqueline from Jack Knits, where I do instructional videos all about knitting and crocheting. Today's knit video is all about this beautiful ripple stitch. It is a lovely stitch that would be beautiful for a baby blanket, an afghan, a scarf, maybe the skirt of a baby dress. Just a simple, elegant stitch, and it is so easy to do. So let's take a look. All right, let's take a look at how to do this beautiful ripple stitch. A lovely stitch, so easy to do. So let's get started. I'm going to assume for this video that you know how to cast on. I'm going to be using the long tail cast on method. So if you do not know how to do that or need a refresher, I'll have a link in the upper right hand corner and also in the description below. You can follow along with that to refresh you. And I'm also going to assume that you know how to knit and purl. So those are the basics that you'll need to know before starting this pattern. The rest of the stitches that we're going to do for this pattern, I will show you as we go along. So let's take a look at the materials that we're going to be using. I'm just using a basic worsted weight yarn. It's an acrylic blend. So any type of worsted weight yarn will work. If you do choose to do this stitch in a smaller or a thinner weight yarn or a thicker weight yarn, then just choose the appropriate needle size to match. I am using a US size 8 needle. I'm using a long circular needle, but I'm using it just like a flat straight needle. We'll be needing this flat. If you do want to learn how to do this stitch for a project in the round, I will have instructions at the end of the video on just a few adjustments that you will need to make to produce a round piece with this stitch. So let's cast on for our project here. For this particular stitch pattern, we need to cast on a multiple of 18 stitches, and that's just for the stitch pattern. If you wanted to add a couple extra stitches for a border, you would just need to add those to your total stitch count. I did not do that for this swatch, and I also did not add any additional border stitch rows at the beginning of the project, but if you wanted to do that, you could do that as well. I just went straight into the pattern and did not add any additional stitches, and I think it looks great that way as well. So let's cast on a total of 36 stitches to get 2 sets of 18 for this swatch, and I'll do that with the long tail cast on method. Again, if you need a refresher, please review to the to the video in the upper right hand corner. So let's cast on 36 stitches. All right, we've got 36 stitches casted on. That would be a good amount for our little swatch here today. Now this particular pattern is a 4-row repeat pattern, and really only the first row is the row that we have particular stitches for the stitch pattern. The rest are all just plain knit and purl, so that's why it is such a fun and easy pattern to do. So our very first row, we are going to start with 3 knit 2 together stitches. Now a knit 2 together is taking 2 stitches and knitting them together as one. So we're going to insert our needle into both of these stitches like we would knit a stitch, but go through 2 stitches and knit those 2 stitches together and take both of those stitches off your needle. Okay, so that's a knit 2 together. It's actually a decrease stitch. We're going to be doing 2 more of those to start this pattern, so we're doing 3 total. 3 knit 2 together, so this one is number 2, and our third knit 2 together. All right, then we're going to do a series of knit 1 and yarn over. We're going to do 6 of those. Okay, so we're going to knit 1 stitch and then do a yarn over, where you're just simply wrapping the working yarn over the top of your needle. That's a yarn over. So that was one sequence, knit 1, yarn over. Now we'll do another one, knit 1, yarn over, that's 2, knit 1, yarn over, that's 3, knit 1, yarn over, 4, knit 1, yarn over, 5, knit 1, yarn over 6. All right, now we're going to do again 3 more knit 2 togethers. So let's do that. Knit 2 together, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that is the stitch pattern that we're going to now repeat for the next 18 stitches. So we're going to start that whole sequence over again. So we'll start with 3 knit 2 togethers. 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll do that 6 sequence again of knit 1 and yarn over. Knit 1, yarn over 1, knit 1, yarn over 2, knit 1, yarn over 3, knit 1, yarn over 4, knit 1, yarn over 5, knit 1, yarn over 6. And then we'll end again with 3 more knit 2 togethers. 1, 2, and our last 2 stitches, knit 2 together. Oh, let's put that yarn, there we go. Okay, so that is, it looks really kind of messy now, but it's going to take shape real soon in the next several rows. Okay, so that was row number 1. Row number 2 is very, very simple because it is actually just knitting all the way across. So we're going to just knit every stitch for row number 2, straight across. And when you get to these yarn overs from the previous row, just knit them right in that big hole. It is going to leave a little hole in your knitting, but that's by design. That gives it this nice little lacy feature here. So just knit across the entire row, and then we'll go to row number 2, or row number 3. All right, we've knitted across row number 2. Now row number 3 is the exact same thing as row number 2, just knitting across. So far, so good. Easy, right? So we're going to knit again all the way across for row number 3. All right, row number 3 complete with all of our knit stitches, and we'll turn our work again, and the last row, row number 4 of our pattern sequence, is actually now purling all the way across. So not knitting this time. We're going to bring our yarn to the front, and we're going to purl each stitch to the end of this row. If you need a refresher on how to purl or how to knit stitch, there'll be you can look in the description below, and there'll be links to my previous videos on how to do those stitches as well. So let's purl all the way to the end of this row, and then we'll start over with row number 1. All right, finishing up row number 4. Now we can turn our work again, and we'll start over with row number 1, which is where we're doing those different stitches across. So let's do that one more time, just so you can kind of familiarize yourself one more time with that sequence, and then we'll wrap it up. So let's start with these knit 2 togethers. We're going to do 3 of those together to start out our stitch sequence here. So 1, 2, 3 knit 2 togethers. And let's do that knit 1 yarn over sequence 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then wrap up the stitch sequence with 3 more knit 2 togethers. 1, 2, and 3, And let's do that whole stitch sequence one more time. So start with those knit two together, 3 of those, 1, 2, 3, followed by a knit 1 yarn over 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we'll wrap it up with 3 more knit 2 togethers. All right, you can start to see a little bit of the ripple effect going on here, but you would continue then with row number 2, which is knit, row number 3, knit all, row number 4, purl all, and just continue that 4-row sequence till your project is as long as you like, and it will start to look like this. It's a little messy to start with, but it will start to really kind of form a very pretty pattern. Okay, so now if you want to knit this in the round, it's very easy to convert. Row number 1 remains the exact same way that we talked about it, the knit 3 knit 2 togethers, and that series of 6 sequence followed by knit 2 togethers. Repeat that all the way across. Row 1 the same as knit flat. Row number 2, instead of knitting when you do it flat in the round, you're going to purl row number 2. Row number 3 is the same. That's going to be just knitting all the way across for row number 3, and then row number 4, instead of purling, you're going to knit. Okay, so I'll have those instructions on the side here as well. You can follow that if you are interested in doing this stitch in the round. Well, I hope you give this a stitch a try. I'd love to hear in the comments what beautiful things you've got planned for the stitch or have created with this. Would love to have you share that. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. You'll receive notifications on future videos all about knitting tips and tutorials, also crochet instructional videos, and would love to join you on your knitting journey. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy knitting.